Bars. I suck icicles half my child's size, runny red nose, taste of tin and cold of winter. Ivory soap goes milky in the tub, house heats up from wood stove. Snow slides down roof's peak with a whoosh and stab, snowbanks impaled. In jail, tiny bars of ivory float in backed up drains, paper wrappers and all. Panties hand washed with white squares dry on the head of the bunk. And the smell of innocence is lost and institutional. The last days of John Blaze. Grizzly-faced and emaciated, only days ago Daddy was fast and strong. His body now so polluted, skin fluorescent yellow, cartoonish against white sheets. I got here late, 9 hours in an airport, his voice fading away into the static. He can't speak. His liver's toxins cause him constant agitation, cloud his mind and drive his body. He fights to get up and out of the hospital bed again and again. Grabs at the curtain uselessly. I'm grateful for a wink. Through his confused and sleepless thrashing, he turns to me, eyes wide, and he winks. In that instant, I fit a lifetime. I know he knows I made it. I, the girl at his side, called him Deep Daddy and poked him in that eye while riding his shoulders. Still, I'm missing the smile. Daddy always smiled when he saw me, a great big joker's smile. His lips had been the plumpest, juiciest lips you ever seen on a white man. Now shriveled pink and peeling, a stained white Santa Claus beard and mustache sink in over no teeth. Saggy flesh clings to arms like sticks, still tough in old man's boniness. For a time, the room was full, most of them girlfriends of his at one time or another, patted and tucked, fussed over him one last time. As bodies hug and go, I stay with his labored breathing and the Dalai Lama's chants, stare out at the icy dance of Christmas lights and wind-battered trees on this hilltop he chose. He used to roll joints in the parking lot on his way home. This, his frozen launching pad to whatever comes next. The shell he leaves is cold, oxygen hissing against no inhale, no exhale. Hard hands not worth holding, familiar fingernails now strange. I can't imagine what he'll come back as, but at least he woke me when he rose to leave.
Requiem to the Holy Mysteries, the start of spring. All night I shivered, an unsung astronaut, flung away into black. Now I'm all muted purples, nightfall, your shape in the boundary between winds, where we crouched like salt-wet black slate. And I awake into dreamlike brightness, haunted by the erotic vision of your hero's return through a rainbow of gentle mist. Down in the dark mulch under the trees, your face, diaphanous, meticulous, the orange salamander in your pale hand. In molten, mythological darkness, union of dreams, you are to me the dark and holy mysteries, a shadow reading. The Great Passion. It all started when my ex-lover introduced us. The new man offered to let me use his washer and dryer at my convenience. I thought it would be a nice alternative to the laundromat. It was certainly closer. A straight shot across Buena Vista Road, the swamp smell, dump, seagulls, and cheaper. I began to like hanging around with him because he was clever, and I told him so. We could hold an interesting conversation. We talked about abstract things. He talked about himself a lot, strict, complicated analyses. He seriously invested in his metaphors, substantial and marvelous metaphors on which he doted. He said right off he didn't care for me and didn't need a friend, someone to talk to like I did. He just wanted to get laid. I bit my heart, and I liked getting laid too. It was a diversion. We shared little. The first time was not too good, but I kept an open mind. From then on, it had its exciting moments. Driving home in the dark past midnight, careening into bed, teasing talk. I ceased to respect his ideas because they were all and only about him, and he was holier than thou, talked about his other women, toted me like a conversation piece, and didn't like my daughter, and only came for an hour between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. We walked on the beach at night, smoked his cigarettes, tasted salt water. It was impossible. One day, I hit upon a plan to control him. I dressed in something saved from early punk days, faded black t-shirt bearing my strong arms, and faded jeans. At his house, took the radiator out of my car. "You look so tough," he said, as if it were something admirable to be tough. He was so competitive. He had always seen me as weak until then. When I looked tough, he wanted me. That's how the game began. I picked miner's lettuce while he brazed the radiator. The plan unfolded very smugly. The next stage was to drive by his house with the donkey in the back of the van and stop to say goodbye. I knew he'd miss me with an image like that on tap. Then to let it brew for weeks. In the excitement of rock, alpenglow, I forgot him. Returning with a strange man, I promptly remembered him. Called him to ask for advice, but was unavailable. He was eager to see me, available. In another 2 weeks, I called for a ride home from the airport. He arrived centered, forceful, vibrant. He wants something. We talked about wild birds on the way across Highway 17. Hadn't anything important happened with his other women lately, I thought, smirking. My girl fell asleep on the way, and he so gently, I thought, hypocrite, laid her to rest on the sofa. We made love like it was all that mattered, red strong, white hot, pounding surf, desperate as need to penetrate the skin, to push bones, the hour of great passion.